welcome to our listeners, welcome to our viewers this morning here on those of you listening to Classic Radio, those of you in GBN TV, good morning. Those of you also via social media platforms, good morning and welcome. It's Monday, the is it the 24th already?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is it is 24th.
24th. So I'm thinking it's Monday the 25th. For some reason, that the Monday seemed to be the 24th. I don't know. I was thinking that for some reason. Let me say good morning to you, Mr. McIntyre. Good morning. Good morning to you. Once again, listeners and viewers, welcome. It's to the point. I'm your host, GT. And of course, co-hosting me as usual, Mr. Sylvan McIntyre does this morning here on the program. Welcome one and all. Mr. McIntyre, how are you doing this morning, sir?
I am doing fine. I'm doing great. I'm giving thanks to the Almighty for life, and I'm giving him thanks because I'm a farmer and I had a bit of rain over the last couple of days.
It's an interesting morning, eh?
Yeah, it is very interesting. Yeah.
It's an interesting morning.
Yes, of course.
Somewhere around after 3, somewhere around there. Usually my wake-up time, and it was just raining.
But yesterday as well.
Yesterday. Well, not in my area per se. I don't know.
Yeah, but St. Andrew and Grandance, we got some rain. Yeah, of course we did. As a matter of fact, I heard the water trickling down into my tank. You know, I do rainwater harvesting as well. So my tank was there. I think one of them was empty. And when the rain came and it coming up the roof, it just bashing down inside. It was a good feeling.
So it was a good feeling.
Of course.
All right, man.
But that does not solve any other problem. The south of the island is still golden brown almost. Yeah. But thankful. The rainforest and the northern and central part of Grenada is still very lush, which is cool because it has some implication for the water resource. Nawasa has also put out their restrictions, their valve regulations has started and the fire department and agriculture, they have increased their awareness in terms of the slash and burn by farmers and the indiscriminate or unadvised or unauthorized burning of stuff. They've increased on that because we're going closer to dry season.
You mentioned dry season. Sometime latter February, early March, you're saying we're going to have a late dry season starting.
It's still late.
For some reason. You're still late, right?
Yeah, kind of still late.
But it just
in the March,
seems to have just swooped in on us just like that for some reason or the other. For the last couple of weeks, we've been getting those the sun has been out more for majority of the day more than usual. It's been very hot.
Yeah.
You understand? So
I think after 2010... I think after 2010, we had 2010, we had a very, very serious dry season, or a drought. And I think last year as well? We had a very serious spell.
Was also very bad.
But the pattern has been, I think for the last 2 decades, the dry season traditionally is January to June, but you get rain that spills over a bit. So before you could have predicted that once January step in, you're going to see the area just start getting brown. But it has prolonged a bit. So what we've seen in the atmosphere as well is the humidity has changed and you get more stronger dry spell in a shorter space of time. So for instance, we're saying that this is a shorter, it may be a wetter than usual dry season. But when you get the heat spells, they come one after the other very close. So you have a couple of days back to back and maybe a month or two of intense heat that you would get.
Mental preparation for the seasons as they come now. It's not like they used to be before.
Right.
People are supposed to have themselves, individuals in general, Grenadians around the world, mentally preparing yourself, especially dry season. We should know that we're going to be getting the heat more than usual. When the rainy season pops in, we're going to expect we'll be getting more rain than usual. No, that mental preparation for the people.
It's critical. But we need drivers of the process to be able to keep people informed and keep people reminded. Adults, and every adult has an aspect of child in him or her. And so the aspect of having to guide people and remind people, even as adults, you still have to do that. So when things are not happening negatively, we get so focused on what we are achieving positively that we forget that, the negative could really come.
Yeah.
So, but that is why different people are involved in different entities, different skill set, different background, to be able to do that. And this is why our Nawasa, our WAMAS, our NADMA, our agriculture and forestry, and these people need to just keep us focused in terms of reminding us all the time.
I say that to say this because you still hear the complaints pouring in. Now, as I tell us they will take the water. I mean, I understand they should be informed, but you have to expect that. Hey, we're into the dry season, and you could also predict for yourself sometimes.
Right.
Hey, the conditions outside is not as normal as it used to.
Right.
So sometimes you don't always have to be told, hey, this is going to happen. You could predict and having yourself prepared for what's to come. You understand?
I agree. But I think we grew up and we cultured differently. Grenada is a very tranquil place, quiet, peaceful generally. So we tend to think that, God will maintain his citizenship in Grenada all the time, so negative things should not happen to us. But I can tell you, but God has dual citizenship anyway. He has a multiple indefinite for anywhere he wants to be. And we've seen, because last year we had almost like the English type temperature, four seasons all of a sudden.
Yeah, so true.
We had drought, we had flood, we had landslides, we had hurricane, we had tropical cyclones, waves, and so on happening, all in 1 year. And so this year is a kind of a hype, and it's kind of, I feel, uncertain. I can tell you there's some interest. Well, from my point of disaster risk reduction, I have been engaging some people. And it's a good opportunity, actually, for us to be able to make some money as well, because people are anxious for having their plans, their policies, and looking into some things, because we don't want to experience what we had last year, just in case a storm come again this year. And I have to spend some time in Carriacou, because they need a lot of help. They need that kind of a strong psychosocial intervention, because they will still be living from the experience of the past of just last year. And they would be very apprehensive, they'd be very scared, very nervous going into the hurricane season in 2025. Yeah. And so I'm hoping that the authority, they're hearing this, or they are on the ball to ensure that even before the season kicks in, that they have to be doing some reassuring to the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, and to an extent aspects of Grenada, to reassure them that, the possibility does exist, but you can come through this. Yeah. And that's the kind of a thing that we need to be hearing, reassuring people that despite negative has happened, there are still life and positive projections that you can make. Yeah. And so I'm hoping that we can spend some time on the ground with the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, to be there for them, to reassure them that the resilience process is building and it is continuing, and that we are, and show them and prove to them that we are in a better place than we were the last time around. And that will give them some sense of reassurance. So you can do things. A lot of times people do things, good things, and the story is kept as a very best secret. Yeah. The things that have been done that are in people's interests, it's the responsibility of the entities, the state mechanism, to ensure that people are aware of it, to find the medium of getting information across, and that is critical. So
we're small enough as an island to get those information going out there. We are not hundreds of thousands of people. You understand? But sometimes we wonder why it doesn't go the way we should.
Right. Some people make a boast and make a show of the wrong thing. Yeah. And I think the good things that happen, there's a good boast and a show of boast and another one. So you want to be able to show people what is happening for them. That gives an assurance. You could be doing real good thing in the background, GT. I mean, that if it's a personal thing, it's fine. Yeah. But the things that involve other people and it would be in their interest, you have to let them know. And it is called reassuring them and giving them that level of comfort in the system. If people understand that you have things that are there for them, that if something happen, they know where they can call, who they can call, what they can do, and they can get information. It makes them feel a bit more comfortable than they're hearing nothing at all and you're doing all that good work in the background.
I agree. Because, if we reference all the way back to Hurricane Ivan, 5 or 6 years after, a lot of folks still didn't know what to do.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Now, burial has occurred, and sometimes you get the tendency to believe, well, a major hurricane as Ivan that occurred, we had Emily also, and folks still doesn't know what they should do and should not have done.
Yeah.
And all these years after what we experienced before. So your experiences should also help you to improve your present. You understand?
Yeah. There are a couple of things spilling out from our negative experiences from the 1950s, 60s, 1955, the revolution and intervention eras, the Hurricane Ivans and Emily, the Lily and Lenny, the burials, etc., and the Otter and those systems that came through, and even the Kikem journey. We have to use those examples, those things, to remind people and to be able to build on them. We don't do enough of that. Things come, they go there, and we can expand and we can go on this, because what happened, the process of archiving, inventorizing, documenting things and so forth, that is very lacking. And we believe as well, I think a caller spoke on that last time around, that our education system has to be revamped to a large extent in terms of integrating the natural sciences and the disaster risk reduction initiative. It has to be institutionalized. An aspect of health and safety, first aid and all of these things, and particular risk reduction initiative, it has to form its way into the educational sector, into curriculum, showing and teaching people what to do. And I have a lot of pictures of things of the past.
Yeah.
And I have manuscripts of things that I'm writing that I would need to release as well. But even me, too, I think I took too long to be able to release a lot of things from Grenada and across the region. I think I should probably have written more and expose it more to the new generation so that they can learn from it. Yeah. But a lot of people don't even understand some of the recent history that we have. And when I start speaking about some of the history, I begin to feel when they ask questions like, old fella. Yeah. I realize, no, you're not so old. But it's just that people are not aware of some things.
And they come with did that really happen in Grenada? Suddenly you get that sort of question.
Quite a bit. And I'm really looking at our recent history. I've been part of it. And I was like, but yeah. And younger people who probably were not too far from it, nobody told them really. In a particular, and we didn't document it in a way that we can transition and get them. In other words, I maintain that education is not about teaching people to pass exams.
Yeah.
Education is about cultural and moral and everything, and making you ready for the job market. So it's not that you have to just pass the exam, but you must be taught, trained, and you must be able to use the education and skill that you have to make a difference. If you're just going to be going to school, going to one of the colleges or something, and all you do is you go all the way up to PhD, when you come back, you can't use it.
Yeah.
It's not useful. You're not intelligent, but you're educated. You pass the exams and so forth. You have qualifications, but at the end of the day, you are not able to use it in a meaningful way.
I always say it encompasses everything. The theoretical, practical part of it also encompasses everything. And some people focus a lot on the theoretical part of the education. Mm-hmm. And they could tell you word for word for everything. But actually putting what they have learned into practice, that's where the whole issue changes. You understand? It changes from there what you put into practice, what you have learned. That's what the problem is.
I remember things from primary school, and I remember things from Tech and Voc, and so forth, and National College that I learned, and I realized it has never gone away. And I continue to build on that, and if I had options in terms of where I could look in terms of my skill set to benefit from, I realized, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things that if you're not doing this one, you could do the other one and still get something from it, because I got myself involved in a lot of skill-based education and so forth. So while I'm able to do the academics, I'm still able to do the skill and be able to get something from it. But I think our system has channeled too much, and I think I am seeing a seeming shift in wanting to drive more skill, but there's a lot more to be done.
And I have picked that up, especially with a lot of the younger generation today. There's not much that to fall back on. Mm-hmm. After you may have gone to doing a job that encouraged the theoretical part of your knowledge, you're able to do that. Supposedly something occurred. Something physically happens to you, so you no longer have that physical ability. There's nothing else for you to fall back on. Or maybe that particular job that encouraged you to make, you have to sit and play the computer. You can't do it anymore. There's nothing now you can do with your hands besides sit and use a computer.
Absolutely.
I always notice of young people with that particular problem where they're not that they don't know, but sometimes the interest.
Right.
There doesn't seem to be, available to them to want interested in these things.
Correct.
Whereas a different generation time, myself and you and so forth, we had the interest of wanting to do other things.
Of course.
Understand?
Of course.
We could talk about this all morning. We could talk. We could talk about this all morning.
We just gone.
We could talk about it, but that's good. But we drew for a break. I want to invite our listeners and viewers. We're going to have a pretty open morning this morning.
Correct.
Which means you listeners and viewers, you have the option of calling in. We don't usually give you a time set to call in.
We're giving them more time today.
We're giving you more time to call in today. So today's program, of course, is going to be focused a whole lot on you, our listeners and viewers. Tell us about stuff you want to mention this morning. Possible, concerns that you may have, especially within your community. Is there something of a hazardous nature you see as hazard in your community that you think that should be brought to the forefront for the authorities?
Mm-hmm. And road safety as well.
Road safety issue. You see something going on in your community. Hey, I want to talk about this, and I think maybe the authorities may not be been paying attention to. But I'm seeing this on an everyday in my commute. I'm noticing this. I think something should be done about that.
Right.
What about traffic concerns this morning? If you have anything related to traffic concern that you want to speak about, feel free to call us this morning, 435-2041, double options as usual, the WhatsApp and the direct line. You have solutions this morning. You know, there's some people out there with solutions, right?
Yes, they do.
And you probably
Quite
just never had the option of, hey, I'm seeing this. There are people who can think on that particular level. And you could say, I think if the authorities do this or do that, we probably could have an ease in whatever issues that we may be experiencing. Feel free to offer those solutions this morning if you feel we could do that.
Yes.
When we come back after the break. Stay with us, folks. I see the lines are going already, but when we come back after the break, we will certainly be entertaining the calls as we continue the conversation. Stay with us, folks. Don't touch it out.
No frills.
Tracksuit, water bottle, sneakers. It's time. Let's get ready to join us on the road this year for Quad Bank's annual Pump It Up Family Fun Walk. Tell your family and friends, and let's get moving towards a healthier lifestyle. Carry a coup. Come out in your numbers on Sunday, April 6th from 4 p.m. as we pump it up from Alexis Food Store's car park to the Hillsborough Tennis Court. On Sunday, May 4th, the action is on the mainland. We're hitting the road at 4 p.m. from Montrouge Playing Field to the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Registration ends on May 2nd or while stocks last. So get your packages today. Individual packages cost $20. For groups of 3 or more, packages cost $15 each. Proceeds go towards the Princess Royal Hospital in Carriacou. Visit our website for more details. See you on the road for Welcome Home.
One venue, 3 cars, $35,000 in cash. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the big one, because on Saturday, May 3rd from 6 p.m., get set for the biggest event for 2025, the massive Cars and Cash Mega Bingo at the National Stadium. You can win 3 mint-condition cars, a Suzuki Ignis, a Suzuki Swift Sports, and a Honda Vessel Plus. But wait, that's not all. You can also win $35,000 in cash.
Whoa, is this real?
Yes, it is. 3 cars plus $35,000 in cash. Tickets are $60 for 1 or $100 for 2. This will definitely be the event for 2025. Don't miss the massive Cars and Cash Mega Bingo. Saturday, May 3rd at the National Stadium. Brought to you by Karim. It's the way we play.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. As mentioned before the break, the opportunity for you to call in this morning, express your views, your concern related to issue that you have possible concerns with.
Flowers. We didn't give any flowers.
We didn't give flowers this morning, you know,
no.
But we certainly will do that. You
know, one of the things I observed over the weekend through the city of St. George, I want to give some flowers to the boat owners on the carnage, on the entire wharf come through.
What do you notice?
The tethering of the buttoning of the boats and so forth, the tying of the boats and so on, they have decreased tremendously.
So
I have seen a very strong effort in minimizing those ropes and chains coming across the road.
Okay.
And
I have noticed sometimes from observing from JBN here, when you watch down, you see now they have stacked side by side.
Yes.
Which means less ropes coming across the road.
That's correct. That's correct. So, I mean, we have to keep it going. You mentioned in the last program that we should probably put up some notices saying this is what you need to continue doing.
All right. We do have our first caller this morning on the program. Let's see what the caller has to contribute towards our program this morning. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. McIntyre.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. I think we attended the same handicraft center.
Right.
Okay. And I think we both have interest in agriculture.
Of course.
And a lot of people don't realize that in the world, agriculture is the most, it's call it the most essential industry, because if man doesn't have food to eat, he's dead.
Of course.
And then he's no use to humankind.
Good.
So I agree with you that we need to pay some attention to our agriculture.
Yes, sir.
I know I suffered personally because of beryl.
Right.
I lost 60 plus nutmeg trees.
You got paid for it?
I got some money.
They did give some money. Because I got something too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got something too. Thankful.
Yeah. So because Nangan for I'm still trying to get Nangan for backup and in the best way possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep trying, man.
So
keep trying.
Yeah. So I am encouraged by your attitude to our country. I mean, we need serious attention to our agriculture. I don't think enough attention is paid to our agriculture because we have spices in this country. We have cocoa in this country, the best cocoa, the best nutmeg, some of the best spices in the world, and we neglect them. Now, I remember a time when government gave the cocoa industry a subvention,
right.
But a particular agricultural minister cut it out at the most crucial time. But people all over the world where agriculture is important, people are encouraged, and there is a subvention, agriculture is subsidized.
Yes.
Even in the Great America, agriculture is subsidized. And in Grenada now, because of the way workers are paid on the road, it has become very difficult for us to get assistance in our lands.
Okay.
And the fellows, when they do not have road work, they come and they try to do as little as possible. And that makes it very difficult to produce the qualities and the quantities that we need to produce.
Yes.
So my thing is that we should encourage, for example, cocoa production, nutmeg production, and I don't know if you remember how much dashing we used to have in our part of the country, but we don't seem to have that again because a lot of the streams, the swamps have dried up.
Yes.
And we need to find a way to produce more bananas and more things because you try to buy a ripe banana in this country and it's almost impossible some days.
But you know, Kola, you mentioned the dasheen and the ravine dried up and so on. We have to change our method of farming because we have to make catchment areas rain harvesting of water, and we have to move to irrigations because you can get, I remember what we call dryland dashing. I prefer the dryland dashing than the swamp ravine type dashing. That is real dashing. When you boil it, the sticky one ball kicks and the other one comes through like it bricks a little bit nice and so when the dry dashing,
okay, we
love that. But if you can do irrigation, you can get as much dashing on dry areas as you get closer to the swamps.
Yeah, but you see, that is good. The blue dashing comes from the swamp. The one that boils blue is move or whatever color we call it, comes from the swamp.
Yes.
But because we have lost so many trees, the early windbreaks, we cut them down. Some have been damaged. Mine had lost a good bit of windbreak during burial there. And trees are necessary for water to attract and retain water in the soil.
Yes.
So I don't know how you could encourage the Ministry of Agriculture to get on a program or give you information so that you could pass information to farmers.
Okay.
Because not all farmers could read and interpret information in the books. So it's important that they get the information necessary so that we could do proper farming. Grenada farming cannot be mechanized totally because we have too many hills and too many deep valleys and so on. So a lot of farming has to be done with knife, with fork and spade and things still. And we need encouragement and we need knowledge to pass on to the farmers. And a gentleman in your position, with your credibility, you see, that's another thing. People need credibility for people to believe, other people to believe them. And you have, I believe, the credibility that is necessary to help inform farmers of processes and procedures to improve our farming. And I think the Minister of Agriculture could consult with you, could get an arrangement with you so you could help pass on information. Thank you. I don't want to take on too much time.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your contribution this morning, and he made a whole lot of sense.
A whole lot of sense,
Made a whole lot of sense.
I met Minister of Agriculture maybe about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
we sat down, we had a nice chat and a laugh, and I did say something. So I guess he probably will take some advice on it, because we good like that too.
All right. So don't forget, folks, the opportunity for you to call in this morning on the program. Of course, we want to give you a listening ear. Of course, your possible concerns in your area that you want to talk about that the authority could look into. As I mentioned before, possible hazards in your community that you want to mention. We could do that. That probably someone in the authority is listening to this program this morning. They take look into solutions. If you do have something of a solution that you want to offer, of course, maybe it's traffic related. So you certainly could do that this morning. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you live. Good morning.
Yes, GT. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
It's an interesting topic, but I just want to stray from a bit.
I hope you're not straying too straight.
No. I mean, GT is something that just occurred with me on Friday. Myself and another gentleman on Friday in town. That closer is myself and the other chauffeur. We were making a left to go to the Sendal Tunnel when warden stopped me there together with a corporal, and asked me where we going. So we said we're going to towards a Riser Park car park. So she tell me, hold on. She take the radio and she make a call to the next warden by the tunnel. So she to find out if you have any park inside it. Then the warden respond and say no. GT, I want to know what's going on. They have security officers in a Riser parking lot. Why it is you have to, the warden there is saying no, there is no park in the yard. I want to know what is going on. So I just want the public to know what is going on.
Caller, could it be possible that there are coordination between the security and the warden?
No. GT, I'm saying to you, the warden, I did in my vehicle and we were watching. The warden is started by the tunnel. How do you have, do not have no coordination there? You understand?
You still cannot predict that there were not some coordination between the security in the parking lots and the warden. You still cannot predict.
So for what reason he thinks then that they would say to him there is no parking? Because it's a paid parking.
It's a paid parking.
So they would want to be able to make money.
But GT, as I said, I don't want to.
I understand where you're coming from, caller. I'm just saying you cannot say that there's no coordination between. There possibly could have been.
But at that point in time, there was no coordination because the warden there. They were so tight to the traffic because the cruise ship is in and it's tough for that warden to go back and have coordination with a Riser security officer.
All right, I understand.
So I just wanted to GT, and I know all what is going on. GT, and to your guest, good morning to him.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, and you all stay strong.
Yes, man. Thank you.
Same goes out to you. Thank you so much.
Same to you.
All right. 435-2041. 435-2041. We have a bit of an open Monday morning here on the program, folks. We go back to the phone line. Let's hear from you. Caller, alive. Good morning.
Good morning, Sir GT and to Mr. McIntyre.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah. I want to make a little contribution more to the way back when system, the older system, when you talk about, because you mentioned about educating in a dry season.
Right.
So maybe now they do it differently, but in my growing up with my grandmother, grandfather, great-grandmother.
How long was that?
Well, I born in the 60s, in the 50s. I born in the 50s.
Okay,
I born in the 50s, but I met my great-grandmother. I know my great-grandmother. I know when she died. I know everything.
Okay.
And then growing up with my granny. So, like, we are trained. Like, in the rainy time, there was not much pipes. It was more well water and rainwater. So we know that every year, when coming up to the dry season, all your drums have to be ready, and we need at least 6 drums to keep us through the dry season with rainwater only for cooking and drinking. But then we depend on the rain and the well water for washing and for the cows, and if you have to wet the plants or so, all right, for the animals. Then we have the signs of I know if you know the naked lady tree, which we call the gumway, right? And we have the tree of the dandokaya.
Yeah.
So once we see what the change in the leaves, the yellowness of the naked lady, you know that the dry spell is coming. And sometimes according to how the yellowness and how long they keep it, you know that season going to be strong. Also the dandakaya, the dry time coming, they let go their leaves first.
Yeah.
Okay, for the coming back at the rainy season, you know that these are the trees that you're going to see start to see when the spring is in the earth. You're going to start to see the little leaf green on them, even like the plum. Once you start to see green plum on a plum tree, that means the spring is out.
The moisture is in the atmosphere.
It's in the atmosphere and it's coming back.
Coming back.
So it is, and even the sugar apple, once you see the sugar apple start to do some little leaf, and then you see a little a flower. That is it. And then now, coming back to the ground prune now, you know that you plant the corn and you know you have to harvest the corn. I don't know if you know, tie the two corn together, put it in a string, and you hang it in the roof. But,
did you know that, right?
Yeah, you do that. And then the yams, you dig them at you dig them at a certain time.
Yes.
And then you get the ashes. You cut the ashes and you cut them and you dip them in the ashes. You put them in the bag, and you used to have a little kind of storeroom in the back of the kitchen where you're storing all these things. And the bag of dry peas. So you beat the peas to get the peas out and all this stuff. So that these are the things that will keep you true for when they don't have. It's like, you call it thing now. They have a new name for it. Where you for storing, like
you're processing, dry processing.
Dry processing, like you canning stuff.
Yes.
For the hard time. So in those days, not can stuff. That is where they process it for the rainy time. But now, how I look at it, I monitor the season. I already see all the naked leaves. They're gone, but they're not coming back. The dandakaya, it did not change all its leaves. It doesn't drop the leaf early. They didn't drop all the leaves.
So
now I see that there's green plums already. So what this is indicate to me that this season is going to be a puzzling season. We may have a spell where you see we get a heavy set of sun, we get some rain, but watch out, we could get a heavy dry season come marching back on us again.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how we educated in the olden days. But now there's a lot of more scientific.
All right.
And then what I want to add is, with there's a problem with the storms. We only look at the storms when they come into Grenada, and in Grenada with the wind and the rain. That's what we look out for. But for years I've been monitoring with even plants I have what has happened. When this storm comes in, I just see them on the TV like it's a big ball and it's coming this way. When it reaches to Grenada and it releases, it's not only the rain and water it's releasing. All the poisonous substance that is gathered on the way that it pick up, when it reaches to an island, it releases it. So you'll see that the trees maybe change after that. For this planting season after burial, it's one of the most difficult planting seasons.
Yeah.
Even after Ivan, I had a mango tree that is never stopped bearing. It's constantly bearing. Now after burial, a lot of things they change, they're not bearing because of the things that they release into the earth, which I might call things from nuclear bomb, from wherever they plant, all the old chemicals that they pick up on the way. When they release it in here, it's dangerous for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you, caller. Thanks for relating a little bit of the history there.
Yeah.
But I would say in reference to that, times has changed.
Times has changed.
The way 40, 50 years ago, people were regular individual would just look at the outdoors, as you mentioned, different trees and what they do this. That will tell you what the climate will be, or what not only climate, but what the season will turn out to be. Whether we'll have a dry or more a shorter dry season or a longer dry season.
Correct.
But now we take everything computerized. What the scientists predicts and stuff like that, and sometimes what they predicts for their area may not always relate to us.
So one way of saying this though is to complement the science with natural local knowledge.
Yes.
Because in our field of study, our technical studies, what we found out is that there has been a dependence on instruments.
Yeah.
But we found that the local knowledge in many areas complement the instruments, so there should be amalgamation or twinning of those to be able to be most effective. Before we take the other caller, as the gentleman mentioned about the old, I want somebody to call in and let us know why did they call the back of a vehicle a dicky? Have you heard about a dicky before?
I heard that. Why is it called a dicky?
Yeah.
Oh,
another Trump.
Somebody will call and
somebody call and tell us about the dicky. What does dicky mean?
Call up via WhatsApp. Good morning, you're live.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I emanate out of River Road again. I have made 2 calls on the morning program about the situation with a unit dog from San Francisco. You live in River Road. Going to the program, if I find down River Road is in the condition. Right now I'm here, and the is killing me. Morning, noon, and night. So I want the minister.
Caller 1 sec, please. Caller 1 sec. We missed the first part because we seem to be having a little bit of issue in terms of connection.
But we're here in River Road.
We heard River Road, but what? Tell us precisely, especially if you could start over and just sort of the first portion. What is it that you're actually experiencing, so that we could get a clearer view of what you're saying? 435-2041. 435-2041. We seem to have lost the communication with that caller there via the WhatsApp. He was mentioning something that happened
on River Road, yes.
But for
I seem to be disgusted about it.
Seems so also, but somehow connection was very poor.
You're not getting
him there. Let's try another caller via the WhatsApp. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning, you're live.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning to you.
All right, I have 2 topics I want to raise.
Go right ahead, please.
And both dealing with traffic.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, I was called some time ago regarding that stop mark at the Springs Paddock Junction. I've noticed they put in one, but they put it in on the Paddock end. I do believe that is incorrect, because the law, in the law it says the road is called Springs Calvin Road. So I think the Paddock Springs is the main. Coming out from, going into Springs is the main. Right? And not Calvin Springs or Calvin Paddock. So I think the interpretation there is wrong. The stop sign should be on the Springs side, not the Paddock side. Because the road is called the Springs, the road is Paddock Calvin Road, Springs Calvin, and not Calvin Springs, if you understand what I'm saying. Right, so the sign should be on the Springs end, not the Paddock end. Secondly, the trucks delivering carrying concrete, they continue to spill on our roads, and there seems to be nothing is being done about it. It is really creating a serious problem to motorists and sometimes pedestrians, So I would like the authorities to deal with it. In the past, I know there were efforts for them producers to have a vehicle behind to sweep, But no, nothing is done, and it's really, really messy.
Okay.
So I would like them to look into these 2 things, please.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Appreciate your contribution there.
We seem to have some concerns about signage. We spoke about it last week, and we complimented some of them. The gentleman spoke about the improper placement of this one. And I looked at there's some signs that speak about the cliff. Mm-hmm. You know where the cliff is? Anybody know where the cliff is really located? I thought that junction coming from, you have Marion, Woburn, going up that side, and then you have Woodlands.
Yes.
I thought that junction where you have the detour up there was
the cliff.
The cliff.
Yeah.
But I saw some signs indicating that cliff is closed, but it seems to be indicating further down to the Woodlands junction where that tire was doing some work.
I certainly understand what you mean.
And the sign is placed in that junction where it's supposed to be cliff, and it says cliff closed, and there's an indication that says so. And you see a sign coming from the Grandlands Valley area. There's a sign down there that also says cliff road closed. Road closed at the cliff. So I am puzzled as to exactly where the cliff is located.
Okay.
I thought all the time, to be honest, that intersection there where you have the 4 like the cross coming from Calvini, going up to Monjalo, going down to Woodlands and going over to Miriam. I thought that, to Woburn. I thought that was
where the cliff. That intersection right there. That's where the cliff.
I thought it was the cliff, because you actually have some cliff around there.
Yeah, all right. Let's take another caller before the break. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Go right ahead, please, caller.
Okay, Mr. Telesford,
caller, I think you're being distracted a wee bit by your television or your radio. Something is too loud, so it's throwing you off. There'll be a little bit of delay in the broadcast, so have them turned off, please.
Okay, I'm away from it.
Yes, go right ahead, please.
Okay, good morning.
Morning.
Good program always, Mr. Telesford. But I have a little concern quite a while now. There is I'm not getting GBN radio super for the longest while. I don't know what happened.
And what area you are at? What area you are at, sir?
I'm located on the eastern side of the country, Malmont to be exact, Malmont. And it's not me alone that I'm complaining about not getting GBN, you know?
Okay.
Did you say Monlong?
You say in the, you said Monlong? He said he's on the eastern side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say Monlong, sir?
No, Malmont.
Malmont.
So that's it.
That's the upside Levy side. Okay.
Right.
Malmont. Yeah.
Right. Well, thanks for the information, caller. We certainly be looking into that. Thanks a whole lot.
All right, thank you very much.
I think last week we had somebody call from that side too.
Yeah. We drew for a break. Let's take it. Time is creeping up on us this morning. Let's take that break. When we come back, we certainly get into more of your calls. And, of course, we continue the conversation here. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
Whether you're a culinary expert like me, okay, I'm joking, I'm not an expert, I'm a novice, or a novice like me, we have the products for you to assist you on your culinary journey. Let us start with the seasoning. This is the foundation. This is where you start. So we have our small sachets here. As you can see, we have chicken, we have fish, we have all-purpose, we have the flavor, the pot, various sizes. We have the shakers here in 125 gram as well in the same flavors. And if you want a larger format, we have it in the 200 gram. Remember, these things will be available at the GBN Maggie King of the Grill, and they're also available at your favorite store or supermarket nationwide.
Get ready, Grenada. The Maggie King of the Grill is back and bigger than ever. On Saturday, June 7th, Monroe's playing field transforms into the ultimate battleground for grill masters. Think you got what it takes? Then fire up those grills and show your skills. Registration closes Friday, April the 11th, so don't miss your chance to compete for that sizzling prize and bragging rights. It's food, fun, and flavor, all powered by Maggie. To register, call 407-8458. Maggie King of the Grill, where flavor rules. See you there.
GBN family, we've got a brand new home on Facebook and you need to be there. Follow us now on Facebook at Grenada Broadcasting Network -GBN. Stay updated with the latest news, sports, entertainment, and everything Grenada. Don't miss out. Like, follow, and share. Grenada Broadcasting Network. Stay informed, stay ahead. First with the news, fast with the updates.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, to The Point here on Classic Radio. Mr. Mac, we just have about 12 more minutes left on today's program.
We'll make best use of it.
Yes, so let's go to the phone line. Take this caller. Caller, your life. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, DC, and good morning to Mr. McIntyre. How are
Good
you?
morning to you.
Mr. McIntyre, in my community, I'm so happy to see what's going on in Believers in the Tempe area.
Right.
Most of the time, we beat up on the young folks. They come out from school, they idling on the bus terminal, they getting themselves in fight, they doing all kind of things. And today, when I coming out from work and you see so much of them dropping out from the bus, going to play the game under the light, I feel so good. Even me, sometimes I'll have a shower and go back and watch football under the light.
Right.
So when they misbehaving on the bus terminal, what we do to take them out from that? And if somebody take them out now, we have to applaud the person that sees fit. They didn't tell them stop. They didn't run them out of them, but to get things, to find something to do to release the stress on the bus terminal. And I'm so happy. And I just want to say to the young men who are playing the football in the night, that's very good for you all, and continue on to the organizers. Hats out to you all, and thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Flowers.
Thank you.
Flowers. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Kudos to that.
There's someone who's saying here there's an insect that which makes which we call coxsole. I'm not sure.
Coxsole?
Coxsole. All right.
Yeah.
And he said it makes a lot of noise, and that will indicate that dry spells for some reason or the other. That individual is saying that when that is making a lot of noise, indicate that we're going to be experiencing a dry spell.
Because coxsole seems to be what from growing up I know they said they're trying to call rain.
Yeah.
So when you hear them to the extreme, they could be an indicator that we have extreme dry spell and they're actually appealing for the rain.
Okay. Interesting to look. Call up via WhatsApp. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, are you hearing me?
We're hearing you loud and clear. Go right ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you. And I always like that program. Mr. McIntyre, special good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
I know you always sit here like the voice, like what the scripture said, like the voice of someone crying in the wilderness. I believe in order for we move on, we need a lot of action. Yeah, talk is to sensitize people, educate the people, wake up the people, because we like to follow crowd. We like to be driven by something. We waiting to somebody, we say a leader. We always look forward to leaders to drive us along. But something I noticed, Mr. McIntyre, there's a new police headquarters soon to be written. I feel that whole environment around here should be cleaned up. The whole north and south of it, all the building right there, I throw it down, right there and open. Car park, because a lot of, when you see before you go up on the foot, a lot of people that walk there have the vehicle, turn that into a big car park. The next side, I see fellas throwing up shoes on the line and all. It's time to clean up that.
This fucking people are make something else.
Clean up that area and have the looking proper. It's ISO. You cannot have a police headquarters. What example is setting? They have to be a place with full respect and properly secure. You think it's easy to lose the headquarters, you lose, look at what's going on in place like Haiti, with gangs, and you're right in a gang. No. You have to set example and coordinate the area properly, and all the business around there should be developed and make it look proper. That is the main, and is in the city. So I would like to hear your take on that, and you are a man of trust, and you are a man of confidence in. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Appreciate your call this morning.
GD, coincidentally, I looked at that building on the opposite side of the police headquarters proposed.
Yeah.
Just a couple of days ago. And I looked at a few other buildings, including the old police barracks on Melville Street.
Yeah.
And there are a few derelict old houses, defaced structures on the island that I think we really need to address them. Yeah. One, it's an eyesore. And two, it's a hazard.
Yeah.
But with due respect to the caller, I think if you understand, the police headquarters took just over 40 years to get to the Caranage. And so everything would not happen overnight.
Yeah.
So I think it would be a work in progress, and maybe all of that, his recommendation, his observation could be considered, and that could be, something that could be worked into.
Having conversation with the owner of the building on the next side, that broken building, I think it will be removed soon. I think there's progress for it more.
You personally
had a conversation with him, knowing very well.
Okay.
They're already using the car park to the back.
Right.
Police, so they wanted the extra one to the front. So that will be demolished pretty soon.
Okay.
As extra space, as you would say.
Great. Right. So that's the usefulness of contributions from members of the public, and the sharing of the information that is crucial. And so that's what we need across Grenada, more people to be observant and objective in the contributions. You want to see better for Grenada. You don't want to criticize just for criticizing sake. No. I don't want to take a position because it is not your party in government or otherwise, so you're not going to make contributions. Right. So those are really useful contributions.
Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
We're doing great.
Good.
Go right ahead, please.
Okay. I notice nowadays the TV cutting off regular. Whenever it cut off, he's making a wrong blue mark onto it.
All right.
And I can't get my money's worth. I would like to have my money's worth. I paid 100 and something for it.
Well, caller, that's probably for whoever is providing you with the service. So you may have to speak to the company that is providing you the service. All right. So that conversation more or less will be for them. Who's providing you whatever service that you're having issues with? We may not be able to do anything about that for this morning. Thank you.
In addition, she may have to check a technician with the appliance.
If she's having a TV issue or if she's having a problem.
Both of them need to be checked.
Whoever is providing her the service.
Yes.
All right. 435-2041, 435-2041. We're moving up just about 5 minutes before the top of the hour this morning. A bit of an open conversation this morning here on the program. We gave you listeners and viewers opportunity to call in, share your views and concerns in relation to issues within your community this morning. You see something of a hazardous nature taking place that you would like to speak about, feel free to do so. We have a couple more minutes left. Call your live, and I beg of you to be brief this time around.
Morning, same. Sorry to call back, but I just wanted to add something to what Mr. McIntyre was saying about these signs and how they putting them in different and the wrong area.
Yeah.
What happened is Grenada was split into estates. And like on the south here, what I'm seeing they're doing, you have Belmont Estate, Monrouge Estate, Granans Estate, True Blue Estate, Point Saline Estate. But, for instance, I'm giving you where the airport sign is, said Point Saline Airport. SSU is in Point Saline. SSU is not in Point Saline. SSU is in Monrouge South, Monrouge Estate. All when you swing into going in the old school club, that is where the boundary is. So old school club, all the hotel that they put there and they're saying is Point Saline Hotel. That is Monrouge. All that is Monrouge.
All right.
Then you have Granans, Monrouge, and True Blue Estate is in boundaries. So you have these things going on wrong from in the ministry. So the people now start mixing up. As they come into a village, they just call in the place village. They're changing the name. Like you have a place up here they call it Guankai, but it's French. But the one of the things, maybe the transformation or the pronunciation it is Grand High and not Guankai. But I have to find out what is the meaning of Guankai in French, and Grand High is English. Grand High Road, Grand High Hill, because it's the grand, it's up on the top.
All right. Anyway, caller, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, Mac, I'm seeing someone is saying something here. Let me see if I can bring it across you, this one. And the individual via WhatsApp is saying, I would like to say that we often are told to rely on local forecasts. However, in one broadcast on the weather this morning, they said, I would like to suggest that you broadcast 3 times, one at lunchtime, one at 7 p.m. It may seem much, but a lot of the time news that have a lot of repetition, they could be shortened to make space for weather and give everybody opportunity to hear it. I was glad a small earthquake was mentioned today, and it's really trouble in Grenada, but we do not know the day that could happen. Someone is saying that in relation to how forecasts are given, they should probably give out a little bit more than just the warning and so forth.
I respect the contribution regarding that, but I want to also say that my own experience with weather forecasting, it has improved over the years. I think they've made effort to have it a bit more frequent. Mm-hmm. They also have offered sites on which you can also access the weather. Yeah. But in terms of the consistency and the frequency of it coming via the radio and television, it's something that has been mentioned quite a bit. and maybe it is something that should be considered through all of the other places. But it has been more than it was in the past. Maybe, yes, there's some need for improving on it.
All right. So, Mac, I think we get into that stage of the morning when we may have to take a wrap for today. Interesting program as always. Anything in closing before we take a wrap this morning?
Yeah, well, you know that safety is our thing. We speak on road safety and we speak on disaster risk reduction in general. And we also look after the human interests. We do have quite a number of major national sporting events that are upcoming. We spoke about it before. And the inclement or the uncertainty of the weather may have some implication on the output of the athletes. And so rehydration and dehydration are some concerns, and people have to ensure that the children who are participating in events, that their nutrition is looked into,
yes,
and the levels of hydration that has to be maintained throughout. In addition to that, the safety from home into those areas of competition or otherwise, parents have to be more on the ball. They have to look at their children bags and the activities prior to, because they do advance some stuff outside of the homes before they leave and so forth. And it's something that the police, I'm sure, will be looking out for as we have the National Primary School Sports and the intercall is upcoming. I know that these things will be mentioned a bit more. And in terms of the road use, we are advising road users to be a bit more vigilant on our streets. The traffic is increasing tremendously. There are quite a number of vehicles on the road, and it requires people to be more vigilant. We're seeing a number of accidents happening from hit and from behind. It shows that people are distracted in general. So be safe, be cautious, be vigilant as you go through. And my last intervention in terms of the psychosocial intervention, there are quite a number of persons who are traumatized in our island for various reasons. And I still want to submit that our social and counseling, debriefing, and psychotherapy, we need to improve on that, because we don't want to be having people walking around and staring into places, smiling and doing jokes that you can't enjoy yourself. So I want to ensure that as we go into the seasons that are very uncertain, that the intervention of people to give that level of comfort and support to the others, that we see an increase in that.
All right, thank you so much. Hey, so that's what we take a wrap for today's program. I want to thank our listeners and viewers this morning, all who contribute some way or the other by your calling into the program and expressing your views and concern. Thank you so much, Mr. McIntyre. Next week, once the Almighty permits, health, strength, and I always like to say everything else in between. Well, we certainly will be back in the favor. But I will be back here tomorrow, most likely. Once the Almighty permits, also, I'll be back here tomorrow. Until then, have yourself a great day, folks. Enjoy what's left of today, Monday. See you again. Have a good one.